Governor, one of the standard lines in your stump speech is on spending, and the test that you would apply in a Romney administration is the program so critical that it's worth borrowing money from China to pay for it. At the Fox-Google debate in September, you said without qualification, quote, "We need to get the federal government out of education." Does this mean eliminating the Department of Education?
Not necessarily. It may be combined with other agencies. There will still be a role, meaning that, for instance, the federal government provides funding to local school districts for care of disabled children. That will be maintained. But the reach of the Department of Education into the states has to be pulled back. Education has to be managed at the state level, not at the federal level. Will there be any flow through of funds to the states? Yes. But the role I see that ought to remain in the President's agenda with regards to education is to push back against the federal teachers' unions. Those federal teachers' unions have too much power. In some cases, they overwhelm the states. They overwhelm the local school districts. We have got to put the kids first and put these teachers' unions behind.
Do you still support No Child Left Behind?
I support the principle of having states test their kids. And one of the things President Bush did that I supported, and I did support No Child Left Behind, and do support continuing to test our kids. I want to know which school districts are succeeding and which ones are failing, and where they are failing, I want there to be action taken to get the teachers' unions out and to get the kids once again receiving the education they need. So I like the idea of testing our kids. No Child Left Behind needs to be changed. I think it's in pretty significant ways before it's reauthorized. But I do support the testing that's been associated with that program, and I'm glad that President Bush pushed for that.
Governor, on the stump, you criticize Rick Santorum for his answer in a recent debate, taking one for the team, and that was casting his vote for No Child Left Behind. But you have been on that team.
Well, I have no problem supporting things I agree with, right? So I wasn't criticizing Senator Santorum for supporting No Child Left Behind. I'm criticizing Senator Santorum for saying that he opposes it, that it's against his principles, but he voted for it anyway. That, in my opinion, is not the kind of leadership we need to have in this country. Look, we have a couple of guys running against me in this contest who spent their life in the legislature. Nothing wrong with that. It's just not the kind of executive leadership we need to have in Washington today. I actually think this campaign is going to come down to whether we have someone who can go up against President Obama, who has real experience as a leader, who understands how the economy works, not because he's debated it in Congress or in a subcommittee, but because he's lived it in the private sector, and I have. I think that's going to be the fundamental difference between me and President Obama. And I hope that's why people continue to vote for me in this process and give me the nod to become the nominee.